My name is Chuck Osborne, 307 Fairview Street Southeast, North Canton, Ohio. The North Canton Hoover World War II Veterans Monument relocation plans have run amok, clear and simple. One only has to observe what is unfolding before our eyes to see that this project has turned into a debacle that only memorializes the destruction of a small park and the faulty planning of everyone who has had a hand in forcing the placement of the memorial in that park. At last Monday night's Council of the Whole meeting, 3 members of the Veterans Memorial Committee, Ken Dansizen, and Jim Repace, came before Council to ask for Council's blessing for Phase 2 of the project. Board member Jim Repace dropped a bombshell on fiscally strapped North Canton City Council and requested $65,000 of scarce taxpayer funds to be put toward completion of the project. The North Canton Hoover World War II Veterans Monument Committee has not only failed in the implementation of its plan for the memorial, but the committee also has not kept their word. In City Council minutes of January 11, 2010, Jim Repace is quoted as saying, and I quote, "There's some concerns if we do the first part of this project, what happens? Will the city be on the hook if we can't finish the project? Absolutely not. We will be able to get enough funds for this project. There is no doubt in my mind we'll be able to get enough funds. The city will not be on the hook." Close quotes. Apparently those statements are not true, like so many other statements made by members of the community. Further investment of monies, public or private, cannot salvage this debacle. The North Canton Veterans Memorial fails to pass muster and deserves a dishonorable discharge. I urge this council to halt any further construction on the Veterans Memorial in Bitzer Park and not pass Resolution 72-10. This country's veterans deserve a more fitting location for a memorial. The memorial is intended to stand long after we are gone from this earth. Please do not memorialize a structure that clearly is poorly placed in a small park that only serves to elicit derision every time it is seen, when it should be a source of pride for North Canton and its residents. Thank you.
I guess I'm a bit appalled at what I just heard. A lot of his statements are completely false, inaccurate, incorrect. Some of the quotes in the paper where I mentioned that the funds to finish the project, the city wouldn't be on the hook. That was true. We have the funds to finish the project. And there is a certain portion that the city has to look at that doesn't have anything to do with our project. It doesn't have to be done. We are going to complete our project. But I think what the resident that just spoke is missing is any time an individual or individuals are on a committee, and I know all of you have been on several committees and in several meetings in your life, as I have. And during the process of trying to form a conclusion to a project, sometimes you bring out different aspects of the project, but it's not the final conclusion to the project. Look at the park right now. Well, yeah, if you look at the front of the memorial, the plaques aren't up. The border isn't up. The lights aren't on. I mean, there's a lot of work that needs to be done yet. The pathways aren't complete. We are going to enhance the park. And yes, we still have a drainage problem, but you know what? We're going to work on that. That's going to get taken care of. And it'll get taken care of mutually between us and the city, I'm sure. But the amazing thing is, when someone comes to this microphone and has no clue what they're talking about within the project, and makes accusations, wants to attack individuals, I think that is terribly, terribly wrong. And actually it's disgusting. We're trying to do things to help this city,
Jim Dan Sizen, 502 South Main Street in North Canton. Mr. Osborne has never been to one committee meeting. He has no idea the planning of this thing, what is going on behind closed doors. We've worked very hard for 2 years to get where we're at. It's a beautiful memorial, and we're very proud of it. The one thing that I want to make sure that everybody understands, we do have the money to complete phase 2. That money is in the bank, and we have it. And if Mr. Osborne wants to check on it, let him go ahead and do it. Thank you very much.
Citizens who are engaged in the well-being of our community. On my desk was communication night from a group of citizens who are interested in the questionnaire. The mayor's going to have a presentation later this evening for a group that is instrumental in welcoming new businesses to our community. We've got another group that has been working very hard to pull this monument memorial off and make it happen. Chuck, I will tell you that I find your conduct deserving tonight the strongest censure. And frankly, I find myself at a rare loss of words to characterize it. As I listen, I wonder what words like amok, debacle, faulty planning, the impugning of this committee, its integrity, does to everyone who wants to be involved in our community. The fact of the matter is, we're not appropriating $65,000 tonight. And so you sort of willfully merge all these facts together, this information together, and suggest that we're going to do something we're not. I think what I hear tonight is nothing but a constant litany of misleading statements that are designed to embarrass and denigrate people. There are ways to handle this sort of thing. You know it, I know it. But to come up here and to castigate the good people who have attempted to pull this project off, frankly, I just can't find the words to describe it. There's nothing constructive that you say in this matter.
Your own constituents.
Excuse me. Now, I'm going to warn you right now. You have a tendency to ignore the rules. And the rules are that you don't speak unless you're recognized by the chair. I get the last word in this matter. And it's unfortunate that you've chosen to behave this way. But I think somebody needs to defend the people who are engaged in this community and trying to make something good happen. There is a lot of good that occurs here. But I can tell you that nothing will kill that community spirit faster than the mean-spirited comments which cross your lips every other Monday night. On the radio, in the newspaper, the fact of the matter is, you need to measure your comments, and you need to be truthful.
I read from the record. Your own constituents are calling it an eyesore.
President, he's out of order.
Mr. Osborne, would you do me a favor? Would you look over your right shoulder? That gentleman will escort you from this chamber if there's another outburst. And I will have you charged with disrupting a public meeting. Do I make myself clear? You're not recognized. We're not debating this. I listened very patiently for 5 minutes while you blathered on, and you've had a response. But Chuck, frankly, your conduct is despicable. It really is. Every decision that goes against you or people disagree, you impugn their motives. That is absolutely unconscionable.
I read from the record.
Mr. Osborne? You're done.
appreciate your comments, President Revolt. I was going to wait until the resolution came up. I absolutely dissent as far as his opinion on certain issues. But if he cannot act at the point, follow Robert's Rules of Order, our simple public speaks ordinances, he doesn't need to be here. I think you've been very tolerant with him, and it's not about the dissenting point of view. This case tonight was, but it was just terrible what he was saying about this fine committee. But it's just the yelling out, as I said earlier, when you learn in grade school to be recognized before you school, he can't get that simple matter handled for himself. So I'd be willing to support a ban for 114. I don't think he's going to realize till he can't come to these meetings and act in accordance with Robert's Rules of Order. What a disingenuous thing he's doing every Monday night he comes here and yells out. Like I said, for the most part, he can have a dissenting point of view, but his actions are just terrible as far as a public meeting is concerned. So I'd ask council to consider that at a future date when this continues. I will address some of these other issues when the resolution comes up, but thank you for your comments and your support for this committee as observed.
All right, make one more comment on the 5 Osborne rule, which is council's rule against persistency. In short, I would call that CRAP, C-R-A-P.